Hey guys, you're back here with Credit Connector. Remember, this channel is about you guys. I want to empower you guys. I want you to understand your credit. I want you to fix your credit, and I want you to go out there and leverage that credit. Also, I'm still dropping my VIP mentorship that you guys can still get in for free. Remember, if you guys need credit repair, I have all the templates. If you want to know which are the best bonuses for this year, I have all the info there. If you want to know the best business credit cards, I have the info there. If you want to know information about credit unions, I have all the information there. And we are going to start going live. Also, guys, if you have any friends, your relatives that don't speak English, send them to my Spanish channel, which is called... Okay, so let's get to it. In this video, what we're going to talk about is the Navy Federal secrets. And I know that everybody talks about Navy Federal, but trust me, if you stick around until the end, I'm going to tell you a couple of little secrets that nobody talks about here on YouTube. Okay. So Navy Federal, let's talk about what everybody knows. Everybody loves Navy Federal Credit Union. They're the #1 credit union. And why is that? Because they're there for the shareholders. They're there to help the people, the consumers like us. And yes, they do want to lend money because that's the way they make money. Okay, so it's really important. Also, Navy Federal is known to give high limits on their personal credit cards. So that's really important. Remember, on the personal side. They also have a business credit card, but the business credit card, the credit exposure, I think the most you can get is $25,000. On the personal side, they have several credit cards. It all depends what works for you and what do you need it for. If you want it for cash advance, if you wanted to transfer money, if you want it for a low APR on purchases, it all depends what you're looking for. Their credit exposure on the personal side goes up to $80,000. Yep, you guys heard it correctly, $80,000. So what does that mean? That means that you can have either multiple cards that equal to $80,000, or you can have one card, their signature card, their elite card that does go up to $80,000, and that is their flagship card. Okay. What I would tell you is once you become a member, you always have to become a member first. The first thing I would tell you is don't apply for a credit card right off the bat. You can, but I would tell you to build a relationship because that's going to make the difference maybe between getting a $5,000 credit card, a $10,000 credit card, or a $25,000 credit card. Or even a $80,000 credit card. It all depends where your credit is at. I would tell you to start investing in Navy Federal, maybe upgrading your regular checking account, the free checking account, to a flagship checking account. Yes, it does have a minimum of $1,500 a month, but if by any chance you're under that, you're only going to get charged $10 a month. So that's one way of doing it. Also, guys, Navy Federal is known for their installment loan hack. And why is that? The pledge loan hack. Because you can build a trade line without having to pay somebody. Jackie, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Well, what that means is if your credit is not strong enough, or maybe you do have a strong credit, but you want to build brownie points, you want to get brownie points with Navy Federal, you can create the pledge loan hack. And what that means, just to give you an example, let's say you have $10,000 sitting around, and you want to create an installment loan for $10,000. What you do is you put that money in your account, you call them up, you tell them you want to create a pledge loan, and you tell them like the time you need. So I would tell you, if you can, 5 years always looks good on your credit, which is 60 months. And there's two ways of doing it. If you're in the middle of funding, once that you deposit the money, you wait 3 to 7 days. And as soon as you pay those 90% back, what happens? They're going to release 90% of your money. So you're basically playing with their own money and creating a trade line on your credit. And you also creating points with them because they see that you are invested in them. Also, I personally like when you do a pledge loan hack, I like for it to hit my credit, and then I pay off the 90%. When you pay the 90% off, make sure, guys, it's not less than $100 because they can close the account. Okay. If you leave $20, they can close the account. So I like to play it safe. I like to leave at least $100 and then from there start paying on it. So imagine when other creditors come and see your compatible credit, they're going to see, wow, this person had a $10,000 5-year loan and they've already paid 90% off. That's going to help your credit, and that's going to help you create that relationship with Navy Federal Credit Union. Okay. Also, Navy Federal has amazing personal loans. They're very good. Remember, and they do have very competitive APRs. Okay. Now going into the business side, remember, they do have a business BLOC and they do have their business credit card. Yes, it's only $25,000. So a lot of people are like, well, why should I apply for this? Well, one good thing about their business credit card, yes, it doesn't build business credit and it doesn't affect your utilization on the personal side, but it's also known as a phantom card. And what does that mean? That means that it cannot be found. So the only time they will report is if you don't pay it correctly. But if you need to liquidate $25,000 off of a business credit card and you don't want the utilization to affect you on the business side, then this card will be probably the best card or one of the best cards out there to do this. Okay. Also with Navy Federal, remember you can buy their credit cards, the prepaid credit cards, and you can liquidate up to, I think it's $10,000 a month, and you can actually cash out $600 a day, which is amazing. Also, Navy Federal has like no internet. If you want to like travel and stuff like that and you want to use your card, they're not going to charge you nothing extra. So that is amazing. Also with Navy Federal, you want to make sure to try to get multiple products at one time before applying for any loans. What does that mean? You can get their easy certificate, which I think it starts at $50. You can get a CD. You can get multiple things, one or the other. But you definitely have to look like you're invested in them. You should put your direct deposit with them. Once you're seasoning them, you want to make sure to put all your information with Navy Federal. You want to use them as your main bank. You also want to make sure to get OOPS. What is OOPS? OOPS is the overdraft protection. You can apply for OOPS. I think it's after 90 days that you are in Navy Federal. So that's really important. Now, that doesn't mean because you applied for OOPS, you're going to overdraft. You could overdraft one time, like it happens to all of us. It's a mistake. It happens. But if you overdraft every month, they can see it. Yeah, you might not get charged because you have OOPS, but they can still see it, guys. Also, when you create your account with Navy Federal, it's really important to look fundable. You want to make sure that you do have, the address correct, the telephone correct, and you want to make sure to put your employment and try if you can to put an employment that you've been there for 2 years. Okay. Also, when they see that you have your direct deposit going in, trust me, that is going to build that internal score. Remember, Navy Federal does have an internal score that goes from, I think it's 100 to 400 or 450. You want to make sure always to stay above 250. Okay. How do I know my internal score? The only way to find out your internal score is when you apply for one of Navy Federal's credit products. Either you're approved or you're denied. You are going to get a letter, and it is going to talk about the internal score with Navy Federal. Sometimes you might call Navy Federal because you didn't receive that letter, and you might come across of some of the tellers or customer service. They don't know what you're talking about. Just call back because you will come up with somebody. Somebody will answer the phone that knows exactly what you're talking about and might be able to help you guys. Also, a lot of people don't know about Navy Federal is Navy Federal has 0 down payment mortgage loans. Yep, you heard it right. 0 down payment mortgage loans. Like the same loans they give to vets. Okay. Remember, you do have to be a member of Navy Federal to get this loan. It is for first-time buyers. I think it's called the First Choice Home Buyers, and it's 0 down payment. So that is amazing. Imagine trying to buy your first home with 0 down payment. Okay, guys. So Navy Federal is amazing. Also, if your credit is not that strong, no, I'm not talking about if you keep having late payments. I'm talking about maybe right now you're building your score, but it has improved. You still may be able to qualify for a mortgage loan with Navy Federal if you've been a member for a while. Okay. So go into their website and check it out. Also remember with Navy Federal, whenever you're going to apply for a credit line increase, you can. It is a soft pull on your credit. Make sure you do it on the app. Also, Navy Federal used to give credit line increase every 3 months. Now they've changed it and it's every 6 months, guys. Okay. With Navy Federal, you want to make sure always to ask for a little bit more, like $10,000, because the max they give, I believe it's like $8,100. So always ask for more so they can counter offer you and you can get to those $8,000. Okay. Also, if you are trying to purchase a car with Navy Federal, and this I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't talk about this. This is on the personal side, guys. Navy Federal overcalculates or overestimates luxury cars. Jackie, what does that mean? That means maybe you're looking for a Maserati, and the Maserati, you tell them the car you're looking for, blah, 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 blah. Maybe that car has a book value of $80,000 and they're going to give you a check worth $80,000. But guess what? You found your neighbor in the corner that's selling the same Maserati and they're willing to give you that car for $60,000. What does that mean? And this is not financial advice. I don't give any financial advice. That means that you could pay off that car with a low APR and you have $20,000 that you can invest in anything else. You do have to pay it back. But imagine right now, if you have 2 or 3 credit cards, then maybe you're paying 20% interest. This is a good way that maybe you can liquidate those credit cards. Or maybe you can use that money to inject in your business. So on and so on, okay? Also, guys, when you're trying to buy a car, it's always best if you go with a check, because when you get to the dealer and you have that check in hand, it's a game changer. Now, the negotiation is on your side. You don't have to wait for the salesperson. You can tell them, look, I have $20,000. This is what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Yes or no? And trust me, the sales people are going to try to make that happen for you. So I would definitely recommend for you to try this strategy next time you buy a car. Also, if you want to buy luxury cars, I'm going to show you the way to do it. You do not get to the car dealer or to the car dealer or to Navy Federal and say, I want to buy an $80,000 car when you've never had an installment loan or you've never had a car finance. What you do is you start with a lower tier car, maybe $30,000 or $40,000. You hold that car for 6 months, sometimes even 3 months. It all depends. You exchange it after 6 months and then you go from $40,000 maybe to 60 or 70. Then you hold that car 6 or 9 months and you do the same thing. Pretty soon you're above a $100,000 car. That's how you do the game with the cars. Okay. A lot of people think they're going to buy. They've never had a car payment. They never had anything, but they go for the $100,000 car. Also, Navy Federal or any bank or credit union is going to check your DTI. Okay. Debt to income. If you cannot even afford your $50 credit card because you are maxed out, your utilization is sky high, they're not going to lend you any money to buy a car. So that's something that you have to take in consideration. And if they do, you're going to be paying a lot more in interest. Okay. Also, guys, something with Navy Federal, and I told you if you stay until the end, I'll give you all the little secrets. If you need money, because right now you're in a hole, maybe your utilization is high, you can leverage your credit, but you have maybe a car, maybe a boat. If you take that to Navy Federal, they normally give you 110% of what that's worth. You heard me right. If you take your car to Navy Federal, okay, it's paid off. You can use it as collateral. Navy Federal could give you up to 110% of what that car is worth. Guess what? If you have a car that's sitting there and it's worth $20,000 to $30,000, so it's paid off and you're able to get that money at a low APR, you're able to use that money, get yourself out of debt or get yourself lower your utilization or whatever you need it for, and then you can pay it off again. Okay, guys? Remember, I don't give financial advice. I'm not an attorney. This is just for education. This is just for us to learn. You always got to do your due diligence. You got to do your homework. That's what we're here for. Because once I can finish this video, and as soon as I finish this video, what happens? All the data points change, guys. Give me a like, subscribe to my channel, give me a comment because I always answer my comments. And guys, more important, join my free mentorship. Remember, this is Jackie with Credit Connector. Until next time.